Everyone, this is Mrs. Stock, and we're going to be doing order of operations. So first off, order of operations you need to know are the rules. So go ahead and write here on your paper, write rules. These are the rules for simplifying numerical expressions. So right over here, what we need to know is GEMDAS. So GEMDAS, right here. And we'll explain what that means in just a minute. But first, let's define a couple words. The first word I want to talk about is numerical expression. A numerical expression, it's like a sentence. So right here, right. A numerical expression is a math sentence with numbers and operations. That got kind of long. So it's a math sentence with numbers and operations, and it has no equal sign. Another word you're going to need to know is evaluate. Evaluate, see how it's got the word value right in there? It means to find the value. So if I ask you, how much would that equal? That's what evaluate is. So you can see that right here, we're going to be evaluating an expression. Again, down here on your pause and try, you're going to be evaluating, so that means find the value. Okay, let's look back at GEMDAS. So the first letter in GEMDAS is G. So right here, we're going to call this a hopscotch where you write the letter G. G stands for grouping, or grouping symbols. So go ahead and write that right there. Our grouping symbols are things like parentheses. We've seen those before, so go ahead and write a set of parentheses up here to remind you. Another set of grouping symbols is absolute value. Those are those straight bars. I'm going to put an A. That would be some number in there that gets the absolute value. Remember, absolute value is the distance from 0. Another set of grouping symbols we maybe see is brackets, and we'll look at those later. Okay, this is our first step, so right here, write first. So when I'm evaluating an expression, I want to look for the grouping symbols and do everything in those first. Okay, my second step on my hopscotch, right down here, I'm going to put E. E stands for exponents. My exponents, if you remember, are our powers. So 2 to the third would be 2 to the third power. 3 would be my exponent. That means that I'm going to do 2 times 2 times 2. Those are my exponents. So after I do my grouping symbols, I take care of any exponents. That's step 2. So go ahead and write second step over here. Okay, if this was like a hopscotch, I would be doing 1 foot here, 1 foot here. When I get down here, I land with both feet at the same time. This is my M and my D. M and D stand for multiply and divide. I'm going to take care of multiply and divide at the same time when I'm evaluating an expression. And to do that, I work from left to right. So go ahead and draw an arrow. It's the same direction that we read. So I go from left to right, just like if I was reading a sentence. This is my third step. Okay, my fourth and final step, again, is one that I do 2 things at once, and that's my A and S, that's add and subtract. So go ahead right here, write add and write subtract. That's my fourth step. Again, I'm working from left to right, and we'll see what that means in just a minute. Okay, now that we have our steps, we know what we're going to do. So over here on number 1, we're going to be evaluating, so we're going to find the value of this expression right here. So first things first, I'm going to write right here, my first step is G. I've got to look at grouping symbols. Do I have any grouping symbols in this? I do. I have these parentheses right here. So I'm going to perform the order of operations inside of these grouping symbols. This one just has an addition, so I'm going to do 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 I know is 5. My 5 outside of the parentheses stays there. I've now performed that operation right there, which gave me 5. And I still have my minus 2 to the second power on the outside just like that. So it just tags along. Go ahead and put a check mark by that G. We've taken care of our grouping symbols. My second step is my exponents. So I'm going to look and see if I have any exponents to take care of. I do right here, 2 to the second power. So my 5 and my parentheses are going to stay the same. They're just going to tag along and be right there. 2 to the second power is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. So I'm going to write a minus 4 right here. Another check, I've taken care of my exponents. Okay, the next thing I want to look for is multiplication and division. So I'm going to write MD right here. And I'm going to look. Remember, the parentheses right here mean to multiply by this 5 out in front. So I'm going to go 5 times 5, which is 25. I don't have any other multiplication or division, so my minus 4 is just going to come down and stay the same like that. Another check. Okay, my fourth and final step is to look for addition and subtraction. Going from left to right, the only thing I have left is one subtraction right here, so I'm going to do 25 minus 4, which is 21. I have simplified as far as I can go, and I have evaluated this expression. All of this, once I go through my order of operations, equals 21. That's my final answer, so go ahead and put a box around 21. Okay, let's look at number 2. On this one, again, I'm going to put a G. I want to start with grouping symbols. Looking at this, I don't see any grouping symbols. There's no parentheses, there's no brackets, there's no absolute value. Check, that one's done. Now I'm going to look at my exponents. The only exponent I see is right here with my 6. 6 squared is going to be 6 times 6, which is 36. So go ahead and write 36 right here. Then my 3 times 2 is going to stay right there, subtracting from the 36. Check, I'm done with my exponents. Now I'm going to look at multiplying and dividing. Okay, 36 is subtracting those, so that one's taken care of for now. I'm going to look at this multiplication right here. 3 times 2 is 6. So my 36 stays the same for now. 3 times 2 is 6, so I have 36 minus 6. Check for step 3. Okay, my fourth and final step again is going to be addition and subtraction. Again, on this one we have another subtraction. 36 minus 6 gives me 30. Check. This will be my final answer, so I know that when I find the value of this expression right here, 6 squared minus 3 times 2, I do my order of operations and it gives me the answer of 30. Okay, go ahead and pause and try this on your own. Have a great night.